What's up, good people? I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you're enjoying the new year. I hope you have not already given up on your resolutions. So let's jump into it. So I often hear, a lack of an accusal of a lack of accountability toward men in this modern dating market. There seems to be a lot of pushback from both sides, men blaming women, women blaming men for the current dating market. There's no good men, there's not enough good men. All the men that are out here are sorry. All the women are out here are no good. They don't have, neither party, neither group has any affiliation, allegiance, any semblance to former generations. Former generations were nicer. Former generations knew how to be men, knew how to take responsibility, be protectors, be providers. Women used to know how to be more nurturing, cook, clean, sew, be homemakers. And all that seems to be thrown out the windows, and both sides are looking at each other, pointing the finger like, what happened to you all? Right? And of course, then there's a blame on the more senior people. Like, you guys didn't train these people. So I want to kind of address this idea that men don't hold men accountable, responsible. We don't don't hold their feet to the fire and say, no, listen, change. I think that's what the whole red pill movement is about. Not saying that I'm quote unquote red pill. I certainly agree with a lot of the tenets. It certainly helped me to understand this dating market as we're out here. And I think that all men need to understand what's going on. We're talking about holding men accountable, making men the best versions of themselves. This is all in line with that type of thinking philosophy. So what does that mean? What does that look like? How is that functioning? What is that? What's up with that? So I think that what does it mean to hold a man accountable? I mean, we know what it is. A man will my time in the police department, we had to train officers out of always taking a woman's side in a domestic violence call, or you walk into a scene or whatever, and there's this automatic assumption that the guy is wrong. You know what? I was thinking about where I was going to place this video. This is the short video that I saw just today about, in Britain, this woman called this guy basically a pedo. And I'm going to play the video. I want you to see how her face and her demeanor changes. She's pointing the finger, laughing, but when the police get there, she's the victim.
This woman insults the man behind the camera. We'll watch what happened next.
Sorry? Whoa, what, you just coming? Well, sorry, can I have this lady arrested? She just called me a I've got it on video. Can you arrest her? A public order, just called me a You just called me a Sorry, can you take her away? Sorry, can you take her? You can't call people that. You cannot call people that. You can't call people that. Yeah, you can't call people that. No. Yeah, I've got it on video. Yeah. I've got it on video, her saying it right to my face, so it's a public order offense. I hope she gets arrested.
Comment down what you guys think. This woman insults the man behind the camera.
Right, so check out her demeanor. Everybody's so nice. We're at a four-way stop section and nobody wants to go. Everybody's waving each other around. Everybody's so nice. New Year's resolutions in full effect, right? So what I'm saying is that men have always been held accountable. Men have always been held accountable. From our arrest rates to our, we get sentenced more. and all this kind of stuff. Now you look at the dating scene, the dating scenario. You know, men have always been charged with paying. Men have always been charged with this other stuff, and yet there's this idea that somehow we're not being held accountable. Now, you know, nobody. I'm certainly not saying that men ought to be out there putting their hands on women, not knowing how to talk, being rough, mean, domineering, dominant, and all that comes from. You know, I'm saying all. I'm using obviously, you know, some interesting phraseology. It's obviously not all, but many of this comes from the fact that, you know, if a guy that you like is strong and harsh, strong not harsh, but then he's a dominant guy. But if a guy he's not like that though, then he's insecure. So you can't take this seriously. You know, I was watching a YouTube video one time about this panel, and you know, the guy the guy called these ladies out about it. You know, if it's a guy that you like, and he's tall, and he's saying this, and he's putting you in your place, quote unquote, putting you in your place. That was the exact terminology. He's putting you in your place. Then he's a strong guy who gets it, who's dominant, and this, that, and the other. But if he's under 6 feet and he's trying to put you in your place, oh well, then he's you know, then he's got Napoleon syndrome or some other craziness. So it all changes. So as a guy, you know, it sounds terrible, harsh to say, but sometimes you just can't take this stuff seriously. I'm not excusing guys who are abusive or excusing guys who, you know, emotionally, financially, physically abuse people, you know, don't see their kids, have a bunch of babies out of wedlock. I'm not excusing any of that type. I'm not excusing any of that type of behavior. But those people are always held accountable, one way or another. Right? You know, a guy who has doesn't have custody of his kids, doesn't pay his child support, is going to prison. Well, meanwhile, the woman, in many cases, will get some kind of assistance. You know, a guy, you know, and I'm admittedly I need to do a little bit more research about this. You know who's, you know, because there are some statistics where there are some cases, scenarios where a guy is eligible for many of these same financial benefits of being impoverished if you have custody of your kids. So, you know, so I'm just saying that, you know, the guys have always been held responsible from not paying child support, from not seeing their kids, to all this stuff, man. We've been held accountable criminally. You know, we've been held accountable. So I don't understand, you know, this narrative, this talk about we don't hold guys accountable and, you know, this, that, and the other. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. You know, I've got this one is be one as that I'll include in the playlist, but I have a playlist dedicated to guys. And I notice I go back and I look at the views. I look at the views about, you know, what videos are more popular, this, that, and the other. My self-improvement videos don't do well, and that ought to tell you something. Nobody's watching, right? Be the best version of yourself, you know, overcome obstacles, whatever my titles were. They don't do well as the ones that talk about men and women. So that we got to take a look at ourselves and what we want to see. You know, and critiquing women is not putting them down. Critiquing women and trying to get you the best, trying to get you to be and get the outcomes and the desires that you want, and try to tell you, you know, what's right and what's wrong, is not telling you that something is an issue, or excuse me, I'm getting distracted. People driving by. Is not a negative thing. So just be wary of that, kind of stuff, man. So this idea that I don't or other people aren't holding men accountable. Again, the whole red pill movement is about telling men to level up. Stop looking at women. Stop blaming women. Stop looking at other things and really do what it takes and really do what's necessary in order to improve yourself. That's the most important thing that people should be getting from this space. If I were to include myself in it, I don't know if I am or not. But I'm saying that self-improvement videos, podcasts, talking to men, telling them to improve themselves. Stop getting out here messing over women. Stop creating families out of wedlock. Stop creating broken homes. Get yourself together. Go to school. Educate yourself. Develop a skill. Monetize a hobby. Do something to become the best version of yourself. Whatever that means for you. Become the best truck driver. Become the best landscaper. Go to school. Go as far and fast as you can. Whatever you can afford. All this type of language and all this type of talk is aimed and geared towards getting men to improve themselves. It's aimed in getting men to improve themselves. So they can improve themselves, number one, for themselves, and number two, so they can become better mates. Right? A guy who's putting his hands on a woman because he's lacking self-confidence, because he's not in his masculinity, quote unquote, because he's feeling inadequate in many ways, is a dangerous man to the community, to the environment, to the woman, and to himself. And he needs to improve himself. So what we need to do is stop looking at all these other things around you, turn off the TVs and all this kind of stuff, and just improve yourself. Get in the gym, eat right, read some books, listen to some audio books, and listen to some uplifting podcasts who are challenging you and pushing you to become the best version of yourself. And if you're a woman watching this and you've got nephews and sons, then you need to put into my playlist and other people's playlists that are geared towards men and challenging them to push themselves to go further and farther. Getting over their feelings of low self-esteem, getting over their feelings that people are out to get them, getting over the feelings of their status in life. Or, before it was, 27, 28 was the average home owner buying age. Then went up to like 47. Now it's like 53. This is a problem. This is a problem. And again, I was listening there's a clip by Bernie Sanders, and he was talking about, the recent election, and the numbers that he was listing off, like the top 3 richest people in America: Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns Meta, Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk. Their combined wealth owns more than the bottom 50% of all Americans.
In the first America, the uber wealthy buy $500 million yachts, $270 million mansions. They have private islands all to themselves. They got fleets of jets that take them all over the world. And occasionally they take cool trips on rocket ships that blast off to the edge of outer space. A lot of fun. They also receive the best health care money can buy, and they send their kids to the very best private schools and colleges in the world. In this America, the 3 wealthiest men, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg, own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half of our society. And their wealth is skyrocketing. Musk alone.
That's a staggering number. The top 3 owns more than the bottom 50. So this type of thing produces anxiety, and we want our piece of the pie. We are going out here building businesses, working for your business, doing whatever. And they want their piece of the pie. So this is all about holding men accountable. You have to do what you have to do. You have to, as a man, you know, put yourself in the places and around people where you are challenged and pushed to become the best version of yourself. If you're the smartest one in the room, you need to be in a different room. If you're smartest one among your friends, you need new friends. All these different type of things. And, you need to push yourself. You need to push yourself. I'm always frustrated. It always frustrated me when I got, a B on a paper or something like that. Particularly as I got older. Well, I went back to school when I was older. I was my late 30s when I went back to complete my degrees and stuff. So, but when I was getting B's and stuff, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy, So, and I'm frustrated when I see people who don't care. I write a comment in somebody's paper. And the next week they turn in the same issue with the same comment. That is not improvement. It's not self-analysis. It's not self-critique. It's none of those things. So, you do with this what you will. But I just want to kind of put this out there that, there is this idea that we don't hold men accountable. And there is this idea that men are, just kind of willy-nilly moving through the world. No, we've always held men accountable from arrest rates, and don't talk about black men in particular, right? We were held accountable for things we didn't even do, So we've always been held accountable. Nobody's excusing poor behavior, bad behavior, not showing up, not emotionally, mentally invested, messing over people with reckless abandon. And I've had conversations with ladies a lot of times, and I'm very cautious about becoming intimate with people because there is a connection that is built, and if you don't want that connection, this is the whole thing about messing over women's heads and stuff, man. If you don't want that connection, man, you really got to be mature enough to say no. And that type of maturity probably comes after 35 when you start losing a little bit of testosterone. In all honesty, I'm just being honest. It's when you're 20, you're just doing whatever. You're calling people up, they're calling you, you're just getting it in, and you don't care about ramifications. If you're thinking clearly, you might wrap up and this, that, and the other. But you want to get that. You want to get this. You want to get this squirrel food. But when you're not there, not doing that, when you're not being responsible, you're a monster, and that messes over people's heads, and messes over the girls' heads, and therefore they would say later on in life that all men are this way, all men are dogs, all men, right? Because one or two of them were just irresponsible in their youth. And I wish I could go back and or do something and say something to these guys and let them know that you ought not to do this. But they're all told that. Their mothers all told them don't be messing over these people. Their grandmothers told them don't mess over these girls. The guys like me or older guys were like, listen, man, you got to be careful what you're doing, who you're doing it with. These girls are crazy. These girls will get you. They'll hunt you down. They'll still stalk you. All this different type of language might sound pejorative, but it's all meant to say to tell men to be responsible about where you're planting your seed, where you're planting your flag, and be smart about what you're doing and how you're moving through the world. Some of it is put more nicely at times than others, but it's all designed to do the same thing and get men to be more accountable and responsible, and all that. So I just want to drop this, because there's this idea that I, in particular, and that other men are not holding men accountable, and that's just not the case. It's just not the case. I've got 80 videos, including this one, and a playlist that is telling men to level up, to do better, be better, and all that kind of stuff. And that's what we got to do is we got to do better and be better as men, as fathers, uncles, brothers, business owners, right? We got to do better, and this is a real lesson that we need to take for the black community in particular. So I just want to drop this. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. how else do you think that we should hold men accountable? And you think that in the United States in particular, that we have not held men accountable and all that? So love to hear your thoughts and your opinions. Until next time, much love and peace.